Hello. Welcome to Seeker Educates. If you've not watched this show before or you've not been on this platform, my name is Seeker. Seeker Antonio is my name. And I just wanted to respond to my viewers' request by popular request, right? So about 11 days ago, I did a video responding to Amma Manson's video on her major health challenge that she's had for a long time called polycystic ovaries. I gave my own perspective and view based on my own experiences, and my inbox has not stopped buzzing. I've had so many people share their stories. I've had testimonies. I've had people that are sharing their innermost pain. I've had all sorts of comments. It's been overwhelming. It's been nerve-wracking. It's been challenging. Just observing and watching the sheer number of people, women, who shy away from these issues because of our culture and all of that, and not really wanting to discuss this problem. And having people inboxing me privately and saying all the things that they say gives me assurance and guarantees that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm touching lives, and nothing excites me more than being able to be a voice to so many people. And so thank you for supporting this page. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for engaging with the videos and all the content on the page. I am here because of you guys and all your support. And so, if there's any burning topics that you want discussed, just message me and I would organize myself and the people that support this program and make it happen. But please follow the page, share the videos so other people can also get the value and the content from what's being shared here. Welcome. And so by popular request, people have said that, oh, you did this video in Chi and I don't really understand it, and I don't speak Chi and whatever, and I don't understand what you said. Can you do an English video? Now, Seeker Educates is a multicultural page. So yes, majority of my viewers are Ghanaian, but I have other people also who follow, who watch, and they also deserve to understand some of what I've said. And, even in Ghana, it's not everybody that speaks Chi, right? Some people speak Ga, whatever other language, and might not necessarily be able to understand Chi that well. We make assumptions that everybody who is Ghanaian speaks Chi, but even my mom, you should hear my mom trying to speak Chi, you would die crying, laughing. So don't make that assumption. Anyway, I digress. I come back to the main reason why we're doing this video, and that is to discuss polycystic ovaries, PCOS. A lot of people heard Amma talk about it, and people started calling it peacock. No, it's not a bird. It's PCOS, and people call it PCOS for short. But the actual word, or the actual words that have been strung together, is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. So that is what PCOS is. Now, what is that? What is PCOS? What is polycystic ovaries? It is basically a fertility condition that affects a lot of women, a lot more than I thought it did. About 10 years ago in England, the NHS had it that 1 in 10 women suffered from one strain or the other of it. But I am seeing a lot more people come out and get vocal about it, and I would say it's actually a lot more than the 1 in 10. But even if it is 1 in 10, that is still a lot of women, because we are all here. Most people that are women have maternal instincts. And so at some point in their lives, they want to procreate, they want to have an offspring, and hopefully somebody that has some characteristic traits as they do. Some people want to have children for their parents so that, their parents can have grandchildren to fuss about. We also come from a culture where, they've set kind of a life journey for you. It's like a life compass that has been set within our culture for you. So you're born, you're a child, then you become a teenager, puberty, you're still in school, then you go to university. And once you've got that degree, the next thing is, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? When are you getting married? Once you've done that, next thing, when is the baby coming? When is the baby coming? Once you've had one baby, oh, you shouldn't keep it that long. When is the other baby coming? On and on and on. And society is not very kind to women who, through no fault of theirs, are not able to be fertile, not able to procreate, or have issues with fertility. And so polycystic ovaries, as I said, is one of the fertility conditions that has become very, very rife these days in our communities, and a lot of people suffer with it. Now, polycystic ovaries affects different people differently. Some people have one or two symptoms, some people have every symptom. We're all different, our bodies are different, our genotypes are different, everybody suffers from it differently. And so, what are some of the symptoms? How do you know that you have polycystic ovaries? One of the telltale signs is that your periods, your menstrual monthly periods, are not regular. So for some people, they don't have periods at all. Some people have periods maybe once or twice a year maximum. And some people have excessive bleeding. So you might have a period for 3 months and it's unbearable. Then you have a break for 6 months. Then you have another 3 months. It's different for different people. And I'll use myself as an example. And the reason why I'm talking about this issue and seem to be very knowledgeable is because I suffer with it myself. I have had it since I was 12. I am 40, so I've had it for 28 years. And so I want to believe that I'm a walking encyclopedia, 28 years of experience with polycystic ovaries inside of my own body. It started pretty much from day one when I started having my menses at 12. And so one of the symptoms that I had was that I would have a period and it will last for 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, non-stop every day. If the bleeding was heavy, I was almost always anemic and in and out of hospital. Iron tablets, blood transfusion, everything you can think about. It was crazy. My teenage years were hellish. There's a big chunk of it that I don't even remember because I spent a lot of time just trying to come to terms with what I was going through. You can imagine, for those of you who have children, imagine a 12-year-old having to suddenly deal with these huge changes in your body and not really understand what is going on. Back then, in the early 90s, there didn't seem to be a lot of information either on this particular condition. So all I was told when I eventually got medical attention was, oh, Sika has irregular periods. But there was no explanation as to why and anything that could be done to help. And so for me, all I got was something to try and stop the bleeding because it was heavy. It was making me poorly all the time. And they needed to do something to stop the flow. And that was me. Now, some other things that people suffer from is that you have facial hairs. And I get those too. And so every 3 to 4 days, I put hair removing cream all over the bottom half of my face, so my cheeks all the way down, and I shave it off. I can't use razors because I'm allergic to the blades. I end up with huge bumps all over my face, and come on, I don't want to look any worse than I have to. So I use hair removing cream for sensitive skin, and that helps. I also have a lot of allergies, and so I need to balance things off. I carry an EpiPen all the time, and so I need to, yeah, my health has been a journey, and managing that um, has been challenging, exciting, but challenging too. And it's been a journey. That's all I'm going to say here. The other thing as well is that you put on a lot of weight, and that is another symptom for me. Um, Not so much in my teen years, but as I've grown and my body has changed, weight gain has been a big, big, big problem for me. I have also grown up now and gained more experience in the illness because it's an ongoing thing that now there's a lot more research and there's a lot more information about. And so now I'm beginning to understand a lot more about what was happening to me back then. And I can also confidently say that the people that have certain chronic illnesses running in your families are more predisposed to having PCOS. And the big one is diabetes. Diabetes is rife in my family, both sides, my parents, my mom and dad. They don't have it themselves, but their families did, their parents. Almost every one of them, 3 out of 4 of them, had diabetes and died as a result of complications arising from diabetes. And so it is in my genes, well imprinted in my genes. And so people like me are more predisposed to getting PCOS as well. The facial hairs are not necessarily just on your face. There are facial hairs that can grow on your chest. So for me, my boobs have hairs on it too, my chest, my back. But I don't care about any of that. It's covered and nobody gets to see it. So that's fine. It's the bit about my face that I am bothered about. But I'm really encouraged that I am not the worst. I haven't suffered the worst brunt of this. When I met somebody or I saw somebody in the papers who was a woman but had a full grown beard and protruding down and has suffered a lot of bullying. And maybe I will put the link in this video and get people to have a read of it. If you're having these symptoms, just for you to know that there are people who are going through it worse than you are, and there is nothing wrong with you. Also, it's thinning of your hair. And so I have very thick jet black hair, but as I'm growing, I'm finding that my temples, with all the stresses of life and all of that, my hair has started to thin on all the areas that I don't want it to thin. So my hairline, the hair is receding. And so you just have to know how best to manage that. And a thing that you really need to keep tabs on to stop the pace and the rate at which you lose hair is stress. Anything that makes you unhappy, anything that piles on a lot of cortisol in your bloodstream is not going to help. The hairs will just fall off. And so you need to be very mindful. Also, don't do hairstyles that push and press on the hairs that are already thin and the roots already thin, because that makes it worse. And so this hairstyle I'm wearing even isn't something that I should do a lot of. It's my birthday. I just turned 40. So I wanted to look differently. And so I've got my hair in a bun, but it's not something I need to be doing a lot of. I actually wear my hair natural because the more chemicals, the more processing, the more loose the hair follicles are anyway, the more chemicals you put in, the less strength it has and the more easy it is for it to fall off. And so I'm trying to preserve my hair as much as I possibly can, and that is something that you should do. So I'm talking about the symptoms and the things, I'm also, citing a lot of examples about my own self and how I've managed, in the hope that you would also begin to put some of these things in practice to help you. I also want to say that this video would have to be in parts because this is a very broad topic, and I don't think that I want to dump a whole lifetime's worth of knowledge on PCOS into one video. So it will be, part one, part two, until I feel that I've given enough information that would possibly help somebody who has ears to listen to be able to progress and help you. Share this video, please. Share this video. Sika Educates has a website, and I am all about health, and being more healthy has helped me to be able to manage the symptoms better. Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, or PCOS. PCOC, as some of you choose to call it, does not, I repeat, it does not have a cure. There's no known cure for polycystic ovaries, but there is a way of managing your symptoms so that you have better outcomes. There are things that you can do to improve your situation and give you better outcomes. And these are some of the things that I would be talking about. And so Sika Educates, www.sikaeducates.com is the website to go to if you want to sign up to my newsletter and get ongoing information about some of these health things that I'm doing that is helping. There's a lot of information that will be out there on the newsletters that are going to help you. And so I entreat you, if you haven't done so already, to find sikaeducates.com and visit that site. Sign up to the newsletter, and it will give you all the information that you need. If you want to join and do what I'm doing to help give you better outcomes, you are welcome to message me privately also, and let's do that. And so I continue. You also get a lot of acne and oily skin. I have had this symptom too. I think I'm one of the few people that seems to have a big proportion of the known main symptoms that people suffer from. I seem to have picked up almost all of them. And so acne is another big thing. Thankfully, acne missed my face, but acne is very, very much on my chest, my back, my whole front body, from my neck to my waistline. That is where I wear all my acne. And my back is covered in spots because of it, and it hasn't really cleared up. So from time to time, when certain things are going on in my body, I get more acne. I find that when I eat a lot of certain things too, it makes it worse. And so, as I'm saying, managing your symptoms is the better way to dealing with this issue. Now, one last thing that I wanted to talk about, and something that we as Africans especially shy away from, is the mood swings and the mental health issues that come about as a result of PCOS. We as Africans generally don't like to talk about mental health issues. Talk about that thing. How are people going to perceive me? What are people going to think? Everyone's going to think I'm mad, I'm crazy. So we do not like to talk about these things, but it also happens as part of this. So if you find that 1 minute you're on an all-time high, you're very excited, life is good, and then all of a sudden you're in a big slump and you don't know what to do with yourself, you're crying uncontrollably for no reason, darling, there's nothing wrong with you. It is the PCOS. It is the hormones that are imbalanced in your body that is making you do these things. People who have either suffered it or a more educated, enlightened, and aware of these symptoms can better understand. Um, Again, if you hold on to certain things that you want to see, and it's not happening, and you get frustrated and all of that, as I said before, stress does not help you to get good outcomes with this condition. Now, somebody's going to ask me, so what actually causes PCOS? Why? How do all these symptoms come about? What makes it happen? As I mentioned briefly a few seconds ago, it is caused by hormonal imbalances in your system. So, as a woman, when you start um, your adolescence and you're going through your body changes, so your boobs start popping out and you start having hairs in your underarms and on your genitals and all this thing. There's certain hormones in your body that have to be at certain levels at different times through your cycle. Once you start menstruating and having your periods as a woman, um, everybody has a cycle. For some people, it's 28 days. For some people, it's 30 days. For some people, it might even be a bit more, 32 days. But everybody has a cycle, So you go from ovulating, where an egg is released through one of your ovaries. You have ovaries on either side, through your fallopian tubes and into your uterus. And that is when, if you had sexual intercourse, you could fall pregnant. Now, if that doesn't happen, the egg is destroyed and it's released with the membrane that your body would have produced, because your body is thinking, oh, there might potentially be a pregnancy here, so your womb is preparing itself for that possibility. And so if that doesn't happen and there's no fertilization, the egg slowly dismembers, and then the membrane, which would have been where the baby rests, would all form part of what comes out on the cycle time, when it's time for you to have your period, as your period. And that is that. Now, people who suffer from polycystic ovaries, though, have a messed up cycle. You don't know when you're ovulating. You don't know what's happening. You just don't know anything. Everything is just messed up because your body is secreting a lot more of the hormone called testosterone, which is a more of a male dominated hormone. And that inhibits a lot of features and symptoms that you as a girl are supposed to have, the ovulation, the egg being released, and no fertilization, the period, and all of that. The testosterone stops some of that process from happening. And so your body is behaving as if it's a male instead of a female. I have described myself several times as being a woman physically, physique wise, because I have boobs, I have a big backside and everything. But um, on my internal body, it just doesn't feel that way. It feels like I'm a woman outwardly living in a man's body. Testosterone is some of the reasons why you have the facial hairs, and things like that. And also, with the mood swings comes a lot of aggression. You get really easily irritated or very irritable and get very upset very quickly over things that maybe under normal circumstances you wouldn't have been pissed off or upset about. You're easily irritated. Things get on your nerves a lot quicker than they should. A lot of that is not your fault. So, these are some of the things. There are lots of hormones that come into play. There's LH, there's FSH, and all of those things. But the main thing is the testosterone levels, your estrogen, and all those things, progesterone levels. If they're not what they should be at specific times through your cycle, then your body won't be doing what it should do normally as a woman. And this is what is causing you to have the irregular periods and all of that. One other symptom that I've had is a lot of pain with my period. So having endometriosis is also something that has happened for a lot of people. Fibroids is something that we Black women have anyway. And we would have discussions about all of those things as we go along. I have become somebody that is very enthusiastic about health issues. I could talk about it all day long. And a lot of it has come about as a result of suffering from health issues, living it. And so through that, I've been able to learn the experience. So you're not just getting the technical or theoretical parts, which anybody can go and read in a book, but you're getting it from somebody who actually, because I've experienced it and I'm talking to you from that experience. I'm not a medic. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a trained doctor. But what I have is the practical experience, what's worked, what hasn't, the flaws, the ups, the downs. I can give you all that information and it will help you to be able to manage things better. And so, guys, I would not make this one any longer than it should be. Today, I've just come to talk to you about what polycystic ovaries is, what some of the main symptoms that people suffer with are, and what has caused that to happen. I shall record my next video telling you some of the things that PCOS does. So when you have these symptoms and all of that, what are the implications? And also help you to find how a diagnosis can be made. And once we've done that, we can then talk about some of the treatment options that are available and the different scenarios that people have, the choices that you should make, and any other issues or matters that arise from that. Please, please, please share this video. Very important to me. Share the video so other people can get the value and information. 2, if you want one-on-one help, you want to be able to talk to me in depth about what you're going through so you can figure out what you need to do. The health consultations that I do with people, I have a lot of people that I speak to. If this is something that you would want to do, private message me and I will tell you how. Finally, be well, share the video. I love you. God bless you. And keep watching because there's more info coming. Okay? All right. Ta-da!
Sika educate, yeah, what Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Sika educate, yeah, Casafa, Abumde, our real impunto. Sika educate, or don't come up, run, yeah, who are true. Sika educate, Unyane baby, Sika educate. Ain't like you page, I am vibe. But more than YouTube, subscribe it. Sika educate is the name. All our man source and they come from inspiration, motivation, modern education. For Canada, when it's here, or don't come or Ekusika deba. For Canada, Bema Jai, or don't come or Ekusika deba. Sika educate, yeah, what Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Sika educate, yeah, Casafa, Abumde, our real impunto. Sika educate.